Let's bring in Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. He is a member of the House Judiciary, Armed Services, and Budget Committees, and it is great to see you, Congressman. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, Maria.
I want to ask you about what you're expecting from William Barr when he testifies in front of your committee. I'll get to that in a moment. Let me just get your take on Andrew McCabe. Is he off the hook at this point entirely? I mean, my audience has been waiting for accountability. Andrew McCabe, it looks like he's off the hook, according to the DOJ, and you say?
I think Trey Gowdy put it right. The Department of Justice did not issue a statement saying that they were done investigating Andrew McCabe. This revelation came as a consequence of the D.C. U.S. Attorney sending a letter to McCabe's lawyer saying that on the very narrow fact pattern of McCabe's lies, his leaks, and his lies about his leaks, that would not result in a criminal prosecution. What I think is far more insidious is the conversion of a counterintelligence investigation that should have been intended to help the Trump campaign fend off Russian interference efforts into a criminal probe to try to delegitimize the president. I obviously believe, based on the testimony from Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, that the insurance policy created in Andy's office was precisely that effort to try to give people an effort to delegitimize the president both before and after his election.
So it sounds like you agree with Trey Gowdy that, yes, he's off the hook in terms of the leaks to the media specific to the Hillary Clinton investigation, but he's obviously going to be questioned or as a witness for John Durham, and maybe he's even cooperating with John Durham.
I don't know how Andrew McCabe wouldn't be central to the Durham probe, because Andrew McCabe was the acting FBI director. And remember the text messages between Strzok and Page where they talk about the need to open up investigations during McCabe's tenure as the acting FBI director, because they didn't think they could get that maybe in the future if someone else were brought in. So he seems central to that probe. I believe he should have been prosecuted for the lying because of the double standard. You see Mike Flynn, George Papadopoulos, Roger Stone, all charged with misstatements, and then McCabe not charged. It sort of makes people believe that an old FBI business card may be doubling as a get-out-of-jail-free card, and that's what we want to see the Attorney General refute. We want to see the Attorney General acknowledge that there is still some swamp left to be drained at the Department of Justice.
And don't forget the Obama appointee, Amy Berman Jackson. She's going to be the judge assigned to Peter Strzok's wrongful termination suit. So there's that. Let's slip in a short break, Congressman. I want to ask you about, Congressman, you and your colleagues, what you want to ask AG Barr when we come right back. Stay with us. Matt Gaetz. Welcome back. I'm back with Congressman Matt Gaetz. He is a member of the House Judiciary Committee, where AG Bill Barr will be testifying on March 31st. Congressman, some of your colleagues on the left want to impeach Bill Barr. What specifically are you and your colleagues trying to solicit from Bill Barr?
Well, I want to know why Bruce Orr is still working at the Department of Justice. Again, getting back to the point that I think we've got a lot of the new senior leadership in place to have the Department of Justice disengaging from politics. But I think the mainstream media has really cast this incorrectly. They would suggest that Bill Barr has infected the frontline prosecution teams with politics, when the reality is they were engaging in, I think, political retribution against Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, and maybe to some extent George Papadopoulos as well. I think Barr has reoriented those frontline prosecutors to the overall goals of the administration, and that's entirely appropriate because they're all members of the executive branch. And I think that we'll see that in the questioning. What Democrats will do, Maria, is try to showcase some White House connection to the decisions being made. But if anything, the decision not to prosecute Andrew McCabe would exonerate the White House from any type of involvement in those investigative decisions.
Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, the Department of Justice is now reviewing Rudy Giuliani's information as it relates to Ukraine, and what he says is astounding corruption on the part of Democrats in Ukraine. Where does that stand? And, you know, Lindsey Graham has said repeatedly on this program that this is a foreign affairs situation where you have to have people like Hunter Biden and the whistleblower and Adam Schiff appear at the Foreign Affairs Committee to testify, not the Judiciary Committee. Which is it? Are you guys ever going to call these people down to testify?
I love Lindsey Graham. He's got a big old gavel in the Judiciary Committee, and I sure hope he'll use it to try to bring these matters before his group. I don't believe that this is a foreign affairs question because it goes to the work and the decisions at the Department of Justice and whether or not they review these cases appropriately in making their prosecution and declination decisions regarding these particular defendants. We've already seen that it was the FBI and Department of Justice infected with politics that caused this corrupt Russia investigation to begin, so it only seems appropriate that we would want to improve that decision-making process through the Judiciary Committee. So go get him, Lindsey. We're all behind you and cheering for you.
Well, we'll see, because I've asked him when he's been on this program, and he said it's Jim Risch, his colleague in Foreign Affairs. You're on both committees.
Well, look, I mean, I think that Senator Graham sought the judiciary chairmanship precisely because he wanted to help us continue draining the swamp. I know Lindsey's made a great deal of mention about that work on his television interviews. I think there are a lot of us in the House that would like to see the committee work begin now that we have the Inspector General's report to be the underlying document to inform on those decisions. All
right, real quick before you go, Congressman, the Senate has passed the Iran War Powers Resolution this past week. One of 3 House GOPers to vote yes. You were. Why? And isn't this a message sending to Iran, oh, you know, we're going to clip the president's wings while they continue to provoke this country?
That's nonsense. Iran would never be free from this president's actions as a consequence of the power he has under Article 2 of the Constitution and under the War Powers Act. He can act even preemptively to defend our interests, our allies, our troops. But no president should be able to drag our country into another multi-decade war, and that's why I'll be voting for the Iran resolution again.